guys, welcome back. Before you get too excited, no, this is not part 2 of my full day of eating slash talky talk video, whatever you want to call it. This is a whole different video entirely, but it is one of those informative videos I promised you guys. If you have known Kevin and I for a while, then you probably already know that when we're lifting, we're a big fan of compound movements. So that's what we're going to talk about today, compound movements. So with that being said, let's just jump right into it. If you guys don't know what a compound movement is, now you guys are into fitness, right? So you probably know what it is. But just in case there's someone out there watching who doesn't, Google describes a compound movement as any exercise that engages 2 or more different joints to fully stimulate entire muscle groups and indeed multiple muscles. I can't read, but there's a little definition of, that's probably not going to focus. Oh well, whatever. So, that is the definition of a compound movement. The next question, I guess, then would be, why do we like them? Well, we like them for that reason. They stimulate multiple different muscle groups, and you basically get more bang for your buck. When you utilize a compound movement in your workout, you're using multiple different muscles to lift that weight. You're expending more energy because of that, because obviously using muscle expends energy, so the more muscles you use, therefore the more energy you expend, which just means the more calories you burn. It's just a good way to get the most out of your workout. If you don't have a lot of time in the gym, or you just don't like to spend too much time in the gym, then compound movements should be your best friend. And even if you spend like 2 or 3 hours at the gym, compound movements should still be your best friend, because you're going to, again, get more bang for your buck. You're going to stimulate more muscles. Why can I not speak today? You're going to stimulate more muscles, more muscle groups, and at the end of the day, when you're in the gym, you're working towards growing your muscles. Compound movements are going to help you with that. They can only really be done with free weights. I don't really consider Smith machine squats as a compound movement. That's just me. But the stabilization that it takes to use free weights, the muscle strength that it takes to move the weight in general, they're really the MVP of exercises, to put it simply. Some examples of compound movements would be squat, bench, deadlift. Now those are just the 3 ones known to the bodybuilding world. Hang cleans, I kept wanting to say clean and jerk. I mean, those are a compound movement too, but hang cleans, clean and jerk, any kind of like Olympic lift, powerlifting lift, and like I said, squat, bench, deadlift, they're all compound movements. So for example, take bench. The muscles you use when you're benching, obviously you're using your chest. Most people, when they do bench, they're doing it on chest day. But you're using not only your chest, you're using your delts, your rhomboids, which are in your, like right under your back. They're like back here. I'm not good at description, I'm sorry. But yeah, your delts, your chest, so your pecs, you're using your, I had it in my brain. Thought about this while I was in the shower. Why can I not think of this now? You're using your pecs, you're using your delts, you're using your rhomboids, and you're using your triceps, all to assist your chest in getting that bar up. So multiple muscle groups, multiple different muscles, multiple different joints, and it's going to stimulate the most, whatever. You guys get the idea. You're using multiple muscle groups. Squats are another great example. Depending on the way you have your feet positioned, it can work either your quads more dominantly, your hamstrings more dominantly, but regardless, no matter how you place your feet, when you squat, you're using your hip flexors, you're using your quads, you're using your hamstrings, you're using your glutes, your minimus and your maximus, you're using basically your whole lower body to get that weight up out of the hole. So you're strengthening all of those muscles, you're activating all of those muscles and joints, and that's what we want when we go to the gym. We want to activate all those muscles and we want to get stronger. And you can't do a lift without obviously the main muscle group that you're trying to work, and you can't do it without the assistant muscles either. There's a scientific word for that, and I'm sorry I'm not scientific. That's what you want when you go to the gym. You want to activate all those muscles. And you see on Instagram like a lot of these people coming up with these like strange accessory work type exercises to target one specific muscle. And that's great and all, but what you're really gonna get the best results out of is using compound movements. And honestly, a lot of the time people will attempt, especially like new people in the gym, they'll attempt these crazy, one muscle group specific exercises, and they won't do it correctly. They'll continue doing it incorrectly, and then they'll end up giving themselves even more muscle imbalances, or even worse, they could hurt themselves. Like you see those memes floating around all the time. I know people call them memes, I call them memes, but you see them floating around with like the person, squatting with a bar on his back on like what is it, a Bosu ball? Yeah, a Bosu ball. And it's like when people do that stuff, you're asking for trouble. You're going to get the most effect out of compound movements. Simple is better. The saying less is more could not be more accurate here. And I really, really believe in the whole less is more when it comes to your workouts. All of my workouts, I focus around one compound movement. So chest day, I start with bench. Leg day, I start with squats. Back day, I start with deadlifts. Shoulders, overhead press. There's no real compound movement for arms, so at least not that I can think of. Compound movements should be where your real focus is. I don't care how much you can, leg press or stiff leg deadlift, which is another great compound movement, but it's not one of the bigger ones, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter how much weight you can push around for accessory work. You often see people talk about, oh, I can do 5 plates on leg press, and that's great and all. I used to be one of those people who thought, oh my gosh, I can put 5 plates on each side of the leg press. I've made so much progress. No, that doesn't really matter. Improving your squats, improving your deadlifts, improving your bench, I think that's where the real focus should lie, because that's where you're using the most muscle groups, it's where you're expending the most energy, and ultimately that's where you're going to see the most results. So that's why, when I make programs for people, I always try to incorporate some kind of compound movement in every single workout. I try to put compound movements in every single day of someone's program, because compound movements, I wholeheartedly believe in them. And I think it's really sad when you go to the gym and you see these trainers, not necessarily with like the older people who are maybe, new to the gym, they never worked out before, or at least not since they were younger. Like, that's great, go ahead and use the machines. But I see these same trainers every single day on the exact same machines with the exact same people. And you're not teaching them how to use their stabilizer muscles by having them use a machine. And I think that's really sad, because then they're not going to know the benefits of, what compound movements and stabilizing your own body weight can do. When I train someone, I want them to, be able to stabilize those muscles. I want them to get in a squat rack, put that bar on their back, and just squat, so I can see your form, so I can help you improve it, so that I can, teach you how to do these movements properly. Compound movements are something that should not be rushed to get up in weight in. I mean, it's great when you move up, but ultimately you need to know how to perform them the right way first. And when I see these trainers using the same machines all the damn time, it's like, are you ever going to teach them how to do a squat or a bench press? I mean, Not everybody has to deadlift. If you don't like deadlifting, fine. If you don't feel safe, fine. But I think squats and bench can really help. And I just went off on a little rant. I'm sorry. So I'm going to stop here and get back into what I was talking about. So we've gone over examples, we've gone over what they can do for you. Now how can we use compound movements to our advantage? I think I kind of went over this in my rant a little bit, but I'll throw it in here again anyway. Like I said, compound movements there should be at least one every single day you go to the gym. Like I said, I start with bench on chest day, squats on leg day, deadlifts on back day, and for me that's how I get the most out of them. I don't really have the muscular endurance to do multiple compound movements in one workout. Hang clean and front squat the other day and my hip flexors just about died. They were not very happy with me. So I'm gonna stick to just hang cleans on Tuesday leg days, but there should be at least one compound movement in any of your workouts. And I think, in my opinion anyway, the way that you can get the most out of it is by starting with it. In my opinion anyway, it has to be the first exercise that you do, because you're not going to be tired. You're going to have the most energy the minute you walk into the gym to give it all to that one movement. If I, for example, benched at the end of my workout, yeah, that's good to switch it up. Your muscles aren't used to it, but you're not going to be able to give it your all. You're not going to be able to do as much as you usually do. And if you're not ever able to do as much as you think, or you know that you're able to, then you're never going to know how much you improve. You know what? Does that make sense? In my head it made sense. But I mean, you'll see like Olympic lifters, they'll do like multiple compound movements in one workout. And I mean, obviously that takes some getting used to, and that, you know, works. But coming from a bodybuilder's perspective, first and foremost, I'm a bodybuilder, obviously. I do like to dabble in like Olympic lifts and stuff like that, but first and foremost, I'm a bodybuilder. That's what I train for. I'm strong in a sense, but I'm not that strong. So doing multiple compound movements in a workout doesn't work for me. But I think if you're able to do multiple compound movements in a workout, that's great, and you're probably going to see a lot of results from that. Basically, if you want to use compound movements to your advantage, just do them. Learn how to do them the correct way. If you've never done them before, start light, work your way up. Just do them, and then you're going to be using them to your advantage. So compound movements are life. I love them. I'm a big fan of them. And there's multiple ways that you can put them into your workouts, that you can manipulate them to, you know, work different muscle groups and all that stuff. So I'm going to end this video here because I really have nothing else to say. And I want this video to be as informative as possible and not just 20 minutes of me rambling about God knows what. So I'm gonna end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe so that you know when I put another one up. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.